Hi, everybody. My name is Tyler Takeshi Wallace, and I am a grade 12 STEM student. I've been in the STEM program for 5 years now, and next year I'll be going into general sciences with hopes of transferring into environmental sciences in the future. I've been in the STEM program for 5 years now, and last year I got the incredible opportunity to be one of the two first ever high school aged interns to work at SAP. Now, for those of you who don't know, SAP is a software development company that specializes in business management software and enterprise resource planning software. Uh, SAP is also the beloved sponsor of the STEM program here at Templeton. And for years, they've been providing us with meaningful support and funding alongside their mentorship program, which brings SAP mentors into STEM classes to teach students all about 21st century skills, which is what I'm going to be doing here today as well. But before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit about my internship and the work I did last summer. As I mentioned before, I was one of the two high school students that summer, the other being Danielle Pevres, who is another STEM student from Templeton. And this was actually the first time that any high school aged student had been put to go work as an intern at SAP. And it was really special to be a part of, and only possible because of the relationship that is held between SAP and STEM. The two of us were stationed at the SAP office, which is in Vancouver, down in Yaletown. And in that office, we were put on our own team called the Cloud Engineering Platform. The team lead of that Cloud Engineering Platform acted as a mentor for us, really helped us guide us through the internship, helped us work on our project, and really just gave us a great taste of what a working office environment was like, which was obviously something that neither of us had ever experienced at 16 years old. On top of that, we also worked very closely with SAP IXP, or their Internship Experience Project, which is a mentorship program that brings a bunch of different interns from a bunch of different SAP offices around North America and into these weekly phone calls with SAP mentors to teach us all about 21st century skills and how to apply them in the real world. Not only was this an amazing chance for us to learn from these mentors that SAP provided, but as the youngest interns, as high school students, we also got to talk to the other interns who were in college or university. And they actually had a lot of words of wisdom and advice for us because they were in similar boats as us. They were trying to figure out what they wanted and how to get there. Overall, it was a great learning experience. On top of that, we also worked on a project at the SAP Vancouver office called the Employee Engagement Project, which was basically our job was to develop a system that would measure the effectiveness of events that were held at SAP Vancouver. It was a lot of work related to survey building with integrated artificial intelligence, alongside some spreadsheet work and data analysis. And overall, it was a really fun and unique experience. So I've thrown around the term 21st century skill a couple times, but I think it's about time I go into depth about what it really means. By definition, a 21st century skill, also known as a soft skill, is a skill or a core competency that is believed to be required to thrive in the working world of today. There's a lot of these 21st century skills out there. The most commonly known as the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. There's also other ones like being able to plan ahead for things or organize yourself, and so many more. And I personally think that these soft skills are more important than what are known as hard skills, or skills that are related to your field of work, whether that's business or computer science or physics or whatever it may be. And I'm going to use myself as an example as to why I think that. I've been in the STEM program for 5 years. And as many of you know by now, the STEM program is a project-based learning program which brings students into groups to work on problems and projects related to the 4 STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and math. But what not everybody realizes is that while these students are working on these projects together in groups to solve problems, they also develop a lot of these soft skills like collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and so much more. And that's really what I realized when I was asked to go work at SAP for a summer, because I knew I didn't have any of the hard skills that I would need to work at SAP, like experience with data analysis or spreadsheet building or survey building, because I was 16 years old and I had never done any of that before. But I did know that I was going to have to apply the skills that I had learned from STEM into my work at SAP. And it actually ended up being making this transition from student to intern a lot smoother. At the beginning of the internship, I was actually very surprised to find that SAP wasn't just an office building with 3 floors and hundreds of cubicles with people typing away at each desk. Of course, there was a little bit of that because it was a software development company, but I was actually also very surprised to find that there were probably near 100 different workplaces or meeting rooms that were all varying in size and materials. Like some had whiteboards or smartboards, and some rooms even had walls that you could write on. It was a lot of fun to work with, and these rooms were actually specifically made so that employees could come together into groups to work on problems, work on projects, and plan things out together. And that might sound very familiar because that's exactly what STEM is for and what it trains their students to do. So during the beginning planning phases of my project at the office, I actually got to apply a lot of the soft skills that I had learned from STEM, like collaboration, communication, problem solving, organization, and so much more into my work at SAP, which was great. And of course, I did learn those hard skills that I mentioned before at SAP, but I also built up and improved on those soft skills. And I think that's really valuable because now I know that these skills are transferable. So the learnings that I've gotten from STEM and from SAP are going to be applicable to whatever I end up doing in the future, whether that's as a student in a learning environment or as an employee in a working environment. So to conclude, I really want to just say that I believe these 21st century skills are definitely needed and necessary to work in the world of today. And for me personally, the mentorships that I received from STEM and from SAP really helped show me what I needed to know to do well in the working world of today. And I think that's really valuable. I also think it's a pretty good representation of the STEM motto, just to fail fast and fail forward. Because I'm not a perfect straight A student, and I never was, but I'm a hard worker and I'm willing to get outside of my comfort zone. I'm someone who's ready to fall down and get back up again to learn something new. And I really think that's what the STEM program is all about, being able to make mistakes and recognizing that, and then reflecting on those mistakes to learn something new. When you apply those learnings into any situation you're thrown into next, and repeating that cycle a lot, you actually end up learning a lot of these 21st century skills, these skills that are applicable in any situation, which I think is really valuable. So to answer the question that is asked many, many times in high schools all over the world, when am I ever going to use this skill? To be honest, I found myself asking this question a couple times throughout my high school career, but never while I was in STEM, because I know that these skills are transferable. So it doesn't matter if I go into a STEM field or not, because honestly, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5, 10, 15 years from now. But it doesn't really matter because the mentorships that I received from STEM and SAP really gave me the skills that I needed to know to go anywhere I want. These skills are more important to students now than ever before. They not only set students up for successful learning, but they set students up to work in a world that is constantly changing and needs constant learning as well. Believe it or not, we live in the 21st century, and it's different than the last one. The world of today is constantly changing, with new technologies, sciences, trades, industries, and everything in between being developed and redeveloped every year. It only makes sense to prepare students to deal with that change and how to adapt to it and how to learn from it. In life, we're not always given control of the steering wheel. Take this curveball that we've been thrown here in 2020. Nobody could have seen this pandemic coming, but as a society, we've come together and adapted and learned something new from each other to survive. These are the skills that we're not only going to need today, but they're the skills that we're going to need when everything is different tomorrow and for the rest of our lives. Thank you.